L.W.K. Laurence, The Master Key, Chapter 13, Lesson 11, Scientific Concentration, Attention, and Mental Discipline. Summary of Lesson 11. The object of the exercises in Lesson 11, this lesson, is to calm both mind and body, which forms the basis by which you gain control over both. To cultivate the senses and to acquire the habit of attention, you are thus introduced to concentration in a simple and easy manner, asking nothing very difficult from you. Here is a glossary or table of contents of the 12 exercises in this lesson 11. Number 1, relaxing mind and body. Number 2, concentrating on the sense of sight. Number 3, exercising attention. 4, concentrating on the sense of smell. 5, concentrating on the sense of hearing. 6, exercising attention. 7, concentration while counting. 8, concentrating on the sense of touch. 9, concentrating on the sense of taste. 10, concentrating on the nerves. 11, exercise in voluntary action. 12, concentrating on sleep. The student must endeavor to carry out faithfully the exercises in this lesson, as all his or her building must be done upon it. Unless you obtain some measure of success over the exercises given in this lesson, you cannot expect to succeed in the difficult exercises given in the following lessons. In practicing the exercises on the senses, students are reminded that the real object is not so much the development of the senses, but rather the acquirement of the habit of attention. That is a particular mental attitude. Concentration, per se, has nothing to do with better hearing or better vision. These are merely resultants. The essentials of Lesson 11, and these essentials, your attention is drawn to the many things which you can concentrate upon in your daily life. Such practice will greatly aid you in acquiring the habit of attention and will tend to make easier the concentration demanded in study or in business. You are to pay attention to your unimportant acts so that you may break away from habits which make it impossible for you to concentrate upon important matters. Begin from now to pay attention to the following little things. First, pay attention while dressing, while you are putting your shoes on, while shaving, if a gentleman, while washing yourself, and whilst brushing your hair. Second, pay attention while eating your food. Do not read while eating. If conversation is going on around you and you are obliged to enter into it, do so, but with the main thought on your act of eating. Third, pay attention while at your recreation. Drop all thought of business or study. You are out for enjoyment now, therefore take it easy. Drop everything else and lay aside business affairs. Fourth, the important point in doing any of these things is to attend to one thing only. Thus, when dressing, do not wonder what you're going to have for breakfast or how you're going to spend the day. Think these out, if you like, before you rise. Say to yourself, I'm dressing. This directs the attention to the mind to the fact. I must dress quickly. You'll be surprised how much you waste time on dressing and how much time you waste on it, or any of the other acts which I have enumerated. A good way to test this is to take your watch and time yourself how long each takes for you to perform. Note down the time in your notebook and then commence to concentrate on each act daily. You will soon find yourself beating your old records. One student, a stenographer in the employ of a bank, found he spent 20 minutes in copying letters of a certain number of lines from his shorthand notes. He concentrated upon this work, and to his great astonishment found it only occupied him 15 minutes, and the work was better done. Thus, over this one act, he had been wasting 5 minutes. This is now a common experience with students. Many report a great saving of time in performing certain work. Time which they can and do use in other ways. But now a word of warning. Do not rush madly to beat your former times of doing any of these acts. Always keep in mind that in concentration there must be no strain. No excitement, no worry, only confidence. You must be cool, calm, and collected in everything you do. And remember, before you undertake anything, to keep this attitude in mind. Say to yourself, I'm cool, calm, and collected. I shall do my utmost to do this act well and quickly. But I shall not attempt to force myself or use strain. Everything shall be done calmly and quietly. You will find that everything you do will eventually be characterized by the spirit of calmness, coolness, and collectedness. And everything will be much better done than formerly. Formerly, not formally, formerly. Okay. The 12 exercises. Are you ready? Let's go. Exercise number 1. Relaxing mind and body. The first essential in concentration is to still the senses. To get quiet, to suspend the confused mental activity. In the past, in common with the vast majority of mortals, you have obeyed the dictates of your mind. You have never realized its ceaseless activity and enormous power. It is therefore the object of this exercise to introduce you to the threshold of your mind world. You must learn the hidden powers of your mind and then try to direct these powers. For the purpose of this exercise, you should select your bedroom, where you are assured of privacy. For you must be by yourself, away from everyone. Lock your bedroom door and lie down on the bed. Lie in the middle of the bed. Relax and stretch your feet down as far as they will go. Next, stretch your arms out and be sure your head is on a level with your body. That is, not on a pillow. Raise your head and let it fall back on the bed as if your head didn't belong to you. Do this 3 times and let that head rest where it falls. Now raise one arm and let it fall in the same manner 3 times. Do the same with the other arm and then with each leg. Now lie perfectly still and try to think of no particular subject. Let the mind wander where it likes, but do not let it pursue a train of thought. The best plan is to think, I am resting, just resting, that's it. And after 15 minutes, rise. This is a most important, though very simple exercise. Its object is to steady the nerves, quiet the mind, relax the muscles, give you tone. Once you come to realize the peace and the good this exercise will bring you, you will value it accordingly and practice it. When wearied or worried, you will find, probably at first, that all your body will rebel at the inactivity, but this will prove to you the necessity for the exercise. This exercise is the foundation of some very difficult exercises and should be carried out every day until it gives way to the exercises founded thereon. Exercise number 2, concentrating on the sense of sight. This exercise is a great favorite with all students of concentration, partly on account of its simplicity and partly on account of the benefits to be derived from it. Get a sheet of note paper and in the center make an ink spot about half the size of $0.25. Pin the sheet on the wall of your room and sit in your chair about 8 to 10 feet from it, which should be on a level with your eyes. Then, without making a single movement, gaze at the spot steadily and count slowly and mentally up to 100. Do not mind if your eyes blink. The object of the exercise is to concentrate your mind on the counting. Try to think of the counting to the exclusion of everything else. That is, do not allow your mind to drift away to any other subject. This exercise, simple as it looks, requires considerable effort on the part of a beginner to keep the mind fixed on the counting. Do not count beyond 100 until your mind gets used to the exercise, which will, perhaps, not be for a week or so. Afterwards, you can extend, but do so gradually. Breathe naturally while counting. This is important. This exercise is one of the, oh, I can do that easily kind, till you find out it's not quite so easy as it looks. The difficulty lies in the monotonous character of the counting, which does not prevent an active mind from carrying on a train of thought at the same time. And then other thoughts enter the mind. And finally you find you're not counting at all. Should, however, you be able to complete the counting, you will find when you review the mental process that a few thoughts did cross your mind. You will find it very difficult for a time to keep them out. But you should keep it to exercise till you can keep them out, all of them. Do not at first practice this exercise more than twice a day. Only harm can come to you if you force matters. In time, the mind will be gradually got under control and you will do the exercise easily. A good time to test yourself at this exercise is after someone has annoyed you, or after you have heard or read some interesting piece of news. Then you will find the mind struggle to take your thoughts off the counting, and you will find that it will take you all your time to come off the victor. Exercise number 3, exercise in attention. You will find this exercise very valuable for the development of mental discipline and also in the training of your powers of observation. The regular practice of this exercise, and it is one that you can practice almost anywhere, will make you observe things that escape the eyes of most people. You will find also that you will observe when outside automatically, and moreover, you will be able to bring back to your memory what you have observed should you ever require it. Choose any little thing such as a lead pencil, a pen knife, a key, a matchbox, or a coin. Take it up in your hand and note the time at which you took it up. Commence now to examine the article. Let us say you have chosen a fountain pen. Examine it carefully all over as if you were bent on knowing everything concerning it. Do not hurry, no matter what the article is you choose. It should take you 5 minutes at least to go carefully over it. Now to come back to our supposed choice, a pen. Note first the nib, what it's made of, its shape, the name of the pen, its maker, any scratches or ink stains on it. Then examine the holder. Note what it's made of, its shape, any name on it. Then go over its surface carefully, noting each little scratch or dent. After you have finished your examination, see how long it has taken you, and note down the time in your notebook. As your powers of concentration develop, you will find your examination of articles will take you longer, and yet it will seem shorter. Excuse me. This is a good sign. Watch for it. Observe. You are not merely to stare at the pen. You must keep in mind that you are making a thorough overhaul of it. Do not allow your mind to stray from your task. At first, of course, you will find it to do so. But bring it back again and again until you conquer. Trivial as this exercise may seem, you will find it a valuable one. It will train your powers of observation, and you will extend these into other situations where they will stand you in good stead. Choose a fresh article each day, for this will sustain interest. A very important feature for beginners in concentration, as indeed in every new study. As soon as you find the exercise tiring you or making you feel drowsy, drop it for the day. Sit perfectly still during the exercise. Use only such muscles, those of the hands and the eye, as are absolutely essential to its performance. Also, keep in mind the calm attitude. This exercise is especially valuable for businessmen and women as it cultivates observation and that cool, calm collectedness which tells so strongly in business. Exercise number 4, concentrating on the sense of smell. It is an established fact that concentration intensifies the powers of the senses to a remarkable degree. Very few people pay any attention to this in an ordinary way. Therefore, you should train your senses as you would train any other part of your organism. In most people, the sense of smell is fairly keen, and there is no desire on their part to cultivate it. It should be noted, however, that when you exercise your olfactory powers, you generally adopt a peculiarly attentive attitude. Especially this is so when you are unable to locate a certain odor, or where you are uncertain of its nature. Students should note this attitude when trying to detect or to discriminate between odors. We seem for the time being to shut off every other thought from the mind but that of the odor. As a means of acquiring the attentive habit of mind, students should analyze the different odors which assail their olfactory nerves. Concentrate upon odors when in the country or when entering a house, as the smell of cooking, the quality of the air contrasted with that outside. When entering shops, a chemist's or pharmacist's, for example. Experiment also with perfumes or toilet waters sprinkled on a handkerchief, taking care that none gets on your hands or person. Note how the olfactory nerves are influenced by fatigue. That is, how the intensity of the smell seems to grow less after time. Try to describe the different odors, their character, their intensity, and also their effect upon you. Such practice from time to time will increase greatly your power of attention, and it is practice that you can put into operation without interfering with your work, business, or studies, for it can be done mostly as you go about from place to place. Exercise number 5, concentrating on the sense of hearing. The following exercise is intended to develop the sense of hearing by concentrating upon it. If you practice it daily, you will find your hearing becoming much more acute. Get a small clock with a loud tick, such as an alarm clock, and put it on the mantelpiece in your bedroom. Then gradually, walk backwards from the room, a step at a time. Slowly is essential, listening intently the while to the tick of the clock. As you find the tick growing fainter, walk more slowly. And when you reach the spot where you can no longer hear the tick, take a note of the place where you're standing and see if you can reach a more distant spot a week or 2 later. Do not neglect to see that the clock always occupies the same position on the mantelpiece. A great point to attend to in this exercise is the listening attitude. You must keep your ears on the stretch, as it were, for the sound of the tick, and very important, never allow yourself to think of anything other than the tick. Simple as these exercises of the senses seem, very few people can do them right away, for their minds will stray to other things. You can and should extend this exercise of hearing to your walks outside. Go somewhere and listen to the great variety of sounds around you. Then pick out one sound and try to confine your attention to it for a few minutes. If you do this constantly in your walks, it will add a purpose to them. And you will find, unless there is organic disease, that your hearing will be greatly strengthened. Exercise number 6, exercise in attention. The following is an exercise in attention. It's very, very simple, and yet you will find it makes a fair demand on your concentrative powers. Take a column in a newspaper, and commencing at the top, cross out with a pen or pencil every letter O that you come across. Go faithfully from the top of the column to the bottom. The simplicity of this exercise hides its real character. You will find that the attention will grow weary, and that the letters will appear to run together, and your thoughts will wander away from what you're doing, unless you're able to concentrate. Now this you must try to prevent. Say to yourself every time you feel your thoughts straying, all I am thinking about is to mark out each letter O. I am not thinking and must not think of anything else. When you have mastered this exercise, and by mastery I mean can keep your mind solely on blotting out the O's, you have made a big stride toward concentration. The grand thing about this exercise is that you can practice it in so many places, at home, on your way to work or business, while sitting in a train, automobile, or car, in your lunch or dinner hour, at a theater between the acts, etc. Remember, however, to drop the exercise as soon as you find yourself growing really tired. 5 minutes at it is sufficient for most students who have not had training in concentration. It's a good plan to go over the same column on the following day and count the number of O's omitted. If you will keep a record of these, you will be able to note progress. Thus, the fewer the O's omitted, the better your attention will have been. Exercise number 7, concentration while counting. Select a clock with a loud tick, I'm sure it's supposed to be, but it says thick. With a loud tick, such as an alarm clock. Sit in your chair and listen to the ticks for a minute or two, and then begin to count silently, that is, inwardly, up to 200 ticks. You will notice that the tick in an alarm clock is fairly quick, so you must learn to count fast. As soon as you have got accustomed to the quick tick, which you call one tick, to commence to count, but do not look at the clock, or you will defeat the object of the exercise. As you count, gaze at the ceiling, then at the floor, anywhere, in fact, but at the clock. As you gaze about, do not think of any of the objects you're looking at. That is, attempt to deny them entrance to your consciousness. Think only of the counting, nothing else. This simple exercise is a splendid one for beginners, for the eye and the ear fight for mastery. The eye sends message after message to your brain concerning the things it sees, and the ear also sends its messages of what it hears. And one of these two senses will win the fight. You must make the ear the winner by refusing to attend to the messages of the eye. By proper attention and concentration, you can master it. Exercise number 8, concentrating on the sense of touch. Blind people have developed the sense of touch to a remarkable degree, many being able to tell a piece of money simply by feeling the coin. A very interesting touch experiment, and one which tends to cultivate the attentive attitude, is to try and detect the cold spots on the palm or back of the hand, or on the cheek or brow. Take a lead pencil with a point fairly blunt, and draw it gently over the palm of the hand. As you draw the pencil slowly over the palm surface, every here and there you will experience a sudden sensation of cold. These parts are the cold spots. And it is owing to these that the sensation of cold is carried by the nerves to the brain. If you mark these spots with colored ink, you will get a chart of the cold spots on a given surface. There are also warm spots, detected by dipping a steel knitting needle with a blunt end in warm water, then wiping it dry and drawing it over the palm surface in the same way as with the lead pencil. The warm spots, however, have not the same intensity as the cold spots. Students can also cultivate the sense of touch by touching articles in the dark or with the eyes closed. It is often very difficult to describe the nature of an article touched in a dark room or when the eyes are blindfolded. These exercises in concentrating on the senses will greatly benefit you not only in concentration, but in making your senses keener, thus adding to your means of knowledge. For remember, all knowledge is only gained by synthesizing impressions received through the different senses. Unless these impressions are clear and definite, the work of thought is hindered and advancement in knowledge retarded. Exercise number 9, concentrating on the sense of taste. Students should cultivate the sense of taste by paying particular attention to the taste of the various kinds of food while at their meals. Very few people have a keen sense of taste, which is mainly due to their eating their food in a hurried manner. Excuse me. To concentrate upon taste while eating anything tends to excite the salivary glands, thus aiding the process of digestion. Students should note, though, also, too, that different parts of the tongue give different sensations of taste. Experiment and see which part gives the greatest intensity. Note also that the middle or center part of the tongue surface gives no sensation of taste. Try it. Put a grain of sugar or of salt in the center of your tongue and you will find that you can detect no sensation of sweetness or saltness. Children have a much keener sense of taste than adults. The middle part of the tongue of a child, as also the mucous membrane, gives sensations of taste which are non-existent in the case of adults. Expert tea tasters have cultivated the sense of taste to a high state of perfection. Some tea travelers are so expert that they can pick out their own sample out of a dozen and more different sample cups of tea. Always remember that the ultimate aim of all the exercises is to develop attention. That is, concentration, without the strain which always accompanies it in the untrained man or woman. Exercise number 10, concentrating on the nerves. Lie upon your bed thoroughly relaxed. See exercise number 1 for that. And concentrate your mind upon your body. Try to become conscious of the beating of your heart, the murmuring in your ears, the sound of your breathing. Do not pay the slightest attention to any other sound, say of an outside nature. Next, concentrate upon the various parts of your body, such as the head, the feet, the arms, the legs, then the lungs, the heart, the bowels, the liver, kidneys, and other body functions. Think that through these various parts and organs, the blood is flowing and carrying life and health to every part. Try to make your thinking so vigorous, so real, that you can actually feel the blood coursing through your system. Say now to yourself, I am alive. Every cell in my organism fills with life. Every part of me is filled with vitality. Picture yourself standing up to a perfect type of bodily strength, strong in mind and strong in body. Literally realize it with all the intensity of mind and soul. This is a grand exercise to take just before going to sleep and before rising in the morning. Not only will it improve your concentrative powers, but you will find it will greatly improve your health. For you will find, as you advance, that the body is but a reflection of the mind. That is, you habitually picture yourself in mind, so you will tend to become in body. Exercise number 11. Exercise involuntary attention. Sit back in your chair and twirl your thumbs. Do it slowly. And keep your gaze fixed upon your thumbs. Do not think of anything but the twirling to fix your attention. If you find it difficult to prevent thoughts coming into your mind, count up to 100. After twirling the thumbs in one direction, twirl in the opposite direction. This exercise is very simple, yet it makes demands upon you, for you will find it difficult to keep your thoughts solely on the twirling. Do not do this exercise in any public place. It's meant for your own room or anywhere where you are free from observation. Exercise number 12. Excuse me. Concentrating on sleep. A very good exercise in concentration on sleep is the water method. The simplest is as follows. Put a glass on the table in your room and fill the glass full of water. Now take up an easy position in a chair alongside the table and gaze into the depths of the water. Sit with your back to the light. At first, simply gaze into the water and think of its cool, calm, and depth. Try to bring yourself to a quiet, firm realization that your whole physical body is taking on the cool, calm conditions of the crystal-like water within the glass. Many people sit by a stream of water for hours, running water. This has a quieting effect on the nerves and many times causes sleep. Again, while gazing within the glass of pure, clear, crystal-like water, hold the thought of sleep and health and see if you can induce the oncoming of drowsiness and sleep. Never mind if you cannot concentrate. Isn't that interesting, my audience? I yawned while we're talking about this. I was mentally picturing the water. Well, never mind if you cannot concentrate on sleep strong enough for the first few exercises to become sleepy. This will come later if you continue the exercises faithfully. The object of the exercise is to simply keep the mind to a train of thought of sleep and quietness so as to gradually or greatly strengthen the entire nervous system. By being able to concentrate on sleep, you'll be able to calm the mind and render it passive and quiet at the dictates of your will. The induction of sleep. For the induction of sleep, several concomitant conditions are necessary, chief among which are an exhaustion of potential interest and the presence of monotony. The induction of sleep is the resultant of these joint conditions. Other conditions, of course, are more or less essential and conducive to sleep, such as a peaceful state of mind, a comfortable posture, absence of bodily pain, external excitement, etc. There are exceptions, however. Persons accustomed to sleeping in the midst of a great noise and excitement find it extremely difficult to go to sleep where there is perfect silence. The faculty of imitation also helps to bring it about. When we see others dozing, we are naturally inclined to follow their example. And at night, the consciousness that all around us are asleep disposes us to seek the same condition. Talking about sleep is acted to induce somnolence, just as talking about food may provoke hunger. Monotonous sounds such as raindrops falling upon the roof or the breaking of wind and tossed waves upon the seashore tend to encourage slumber. Monotonous repetition of sleep suggestions have a decided tendency to induce sleep. The unvarying accents of an unskilled lecturer is an instance of the effects of monotonous repetition. Muscular repose is also, as a rule, a necessary preliminary to sleep, though there are many instances of soldiers and others who, under circumstances of exceptional fatigue and excitement, have not been prevented from sleeping in the most strained and uncomfortable positions, amid the continuous roar of battle or the blustering of a fierce gale. the transition from the walking to the sleep state. The walking to the sleep state. And, you know, I believe that's a typo. It should be waking, but it does say walking. I'm going to say waking. The transition from the waking to the sleeping state, and vice versa, is often sudden, but generally there is a noticeable gradation. To illustrate, a man sitting in an armchair dozes, but is brought back to a partial degree of consciousness by his head falling forward. Well, Chapter 14, Lesson 3, Scientific Concentration, Attention, and Mental Discipline, begins with a summary of Lesson 12. Further exercises. That's for the next video, in which I will see you. L.W. de Laurence, the Master Key.